Okay, in number 23, we're looking at tangent times secant minus 2 times tangent of x equals 0. Since it's equal to 0, we're going to factor out the GCF from each of these terms in this binomial. So we're going to pull that tangent of x to the front as the GCF. And then tangent times secant divided by tangent leaves a secant in the parentheses. And then negative 2 tangent, divide out the tangent, leaves a minus 2 in the parentheses. Once we're in factored form, we can set each factor equal to 0 as its own separate equation. And then we'll take the inverse of both sides. On this one, we'll add 2, and then the reciprocal of secant is the cosine. So secant equals 2 means cosine is the reciprocal of 2, which is 1/2. And then we'll get x by itself by taking the inverse, which is the arc cosine. Tangent is 0 at 0, pi, and 2 pi. We include the 0 and the 2 pi because there are brackets on the end of the interval. And then cosine, that's the x coordinate, and cosine is 1/2 at pi over 3. Let's see, put that up here. So x equals pi over 3, that's quadrant 1. And then cosine is also positive in quadrant 4. And that would be 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3. So quadrant 4 would be 5 pi over 3. So we have 2 solutions from that factor and 3 solutions from the tangent of x factor, and we need to check all of those solutions. We'll store that as x, and then we'll type in the original tangent of x. And there's no button for secant, but secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So we'll divide by cosine of x. Then minus 2 tangent of x. We'll get our equals from the test menu, and that should equal 0. We get back a 1, and that means that it checks. So our next solution, 5 pi over 3. We'll arrow back up to retype the equation, press enter, and it checks. Then we're going to check 0, and that one also checks. Then we're going to test pi by storing it as x, arrow up, and it checks. Since 0 and 2 pi are coterminal, we don't need to check the 2 pi, and we know that we found all of those solutions.